welcome to Techtivity's new online training session about Scratch Junior, or ScratchJR as it's known. My name's Ian Pilkington, CEO and Principal Educator here at Techtivity, which was established over 5 years ago with the aim of developing the creative use of technology in schools and beyond. Today we design and deliver computing curricula in a number of schools, as well as running workshops for children on things such as animation, filmmaking, music composition and production, and coding, amongst others. In the past, we've supported teachers through face-to-face sessions, but as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, we've decided to put all our training online. So, to the opening session of this course. ScratchJR is a free app for Android and iPads created by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, who are the same team behind the full-fat version of Scratch you'll no doubt have heard of. However, ScratchJR is great, and it's great for introducing coding in a simple, fun way, and it's perfect as a starting point for young children in Key Stage 1 and Lower Key Stage 2, who are just beginning to learn to code. It's also a great way to transition children to using the more powerful version of Scratch later on in school. If you've not already done so, check out the interactive user interface guide on the website, and feel free to download the suggested lesson plan from the site too. Today we'll cover placing a sprite, how to make it move around the stage and say something using a speech bubble, and finally add a background to make your coded animation look a bit more professional. Feel free to stop the video, have a tinker with the app and restart whenever you like, and we hope you enjoy this session. So let's get going. When we first launch Scratch, this splash screen will appear. When we click Home, it takes us to the place where we can create and store our projects. Click on Plus and it will take us to our starting screen. This will always be the same, so you will always have Scratch there grinning back at you, and after a while you'll probably get totally sick of that sprite, that character. All the other elements that are on the screen are explained in the interactive interface guide, which is on the website. To move Scratch, simply click and drag. Press and hold on the iPad. Move Scratch to wherever you want Scratch to be to begin with. And let's just go over again what the objectives of today's session are. We're going to be able to move a sprite, controlling it using a coding sequence, make the sprite say something using a speech bubble, and add a background. Very, very simple for that first session, but it's ones that children really do enjoy exploring. So any coding sequence needs a trigger to begin. And down here, the yellow blocks are our event blocks. Here we've got a green flag, which is the equivalent of start or go. We've got other event blocks that we'll cover in later sections. So for now, simply drag that green flag down into our coding area or our programming area. This little outline drawing tells you which sprite it is that you're actually adding the coding sequence to. We're going to make Sprite move across the screen, and the blue blocks are the motion blocks, the movement blocks. And very simply, move right, move left, move up the stage, move down the stage, rotate clockwise, rotate anti-clockwise, go up and come down again in one movement, and return to the starting position. We simply want Scratch, in this case, to move across the screen. So click and drag the move right block. When you tap in the number underneath, it allows you to type in the number of steps that you want the sprite to move. If you use the grids, you'll be able to see how big the screen was in terms of its length and its height. But here, just as a rule, 15 will take it to roughly the edge of the screen. So type in 15. Let's see what happens. Go to the green flag at the top of the screen, and Scratch moves across the screen. If you put in a number that is bigger than 15, a weird thing happens. Scratch disappears off the right hand side and reappears at the left hand side. Now that could be really good if you're making a game where you've got something that's scrolling across the screen and you want that thing to be able to shot at or to be caught. Now once Scratch has reached the right hand side of our screen. We want that character to say something. If we go into the purple set of blocks, these are our looks or appearance blocks, and here we've got a speech bubble. If we drag that down and click in the block at the bottom, we can delete whatever is written there and type our own little message. Point to note, somebody doesn't know how to use capital letters. Delete that and type in your own message. When you click out of that, now our coding sequence says, when the green flag is pressed, move right 15 steps. Then say, hello, I'm Scratch. Let's see if that works. Perfect. Let's have a look at another motion block. This one moves the sprite up the screen. If we put in a number such as 8, then it will move up the screen, but it will stay there. It won't move up and then come back down again. That is this block here. That's great for having rabbits hop across your screen or frogs jump off lily pads. We're going to rotate Scratch. Now, the two rotation blocks, clockwise and anti-clockwise, use the clock face as a reference. So if you put in a rotation clockwise of 3, it will mean a turn of 90 degrees to the right. 6 would be 180 degrees. 9 would be 270 degrees, and so on. So let's drag a right turn block, a clockwise block, and put in the number 3. That will mean, in our sequence, when the green flag is pressed, move right 15 steps, say, hello, I'm Scratch, move up the stage 8 steps, and rotate through 90 degrees. Let's have a look. Super. What we might want to do now is to add a background. Now, backgrounds can totally change what's happening in your picture and give it a real atmosphere. And that happens from this little icon up here. When you click on that, you're presented with the stock icons for the first time that you're given with Scratch Junior. As you go on, you might create your own, you might paint them, you might take a photograph as a background, and they will also appear here. So like now, just choose this one, which is the farm one. Once you've chosen it, click the tick icon, and now Scratch has got a background, making it much more of an interactive sort of cartoon type of feeling. This button would return the sprite to the starting position, but that also happens when you click the green flag. So let's just see what that looks like now. So to recap, as my first lesson teaching children how to use Scratch Junior, I will demonstrate, just as I've done here, exactly these sort of moves. I'll try to make it funny, I'll try to make the children laugh, I might have Scratch whizzing round and round in a repeat. But then I let them loose, I let them tinker, I let them explore the movement blocks and ask them to make Scratch say something. It doesn't matter what that is, this is an exploration and it's fun. So your first lesson would be demonstration and then letting the children loose. If you have the ability to be able to show the children's work on a screen, then allow some of them to share what they've done because they will be so proud. I also make it clear to the children that Scratch is a free download for tablets, Android and iOS, and therefore if they go home, ask their parents, they'll be able to download this. What I always find is that by the next week, some children have moved on way beyond where I would expect them to be. So, to recap today, we looked at event blocks. These are the yellow blocks, and we only focused on the green start button. we looked at movement blocks. So we moved right across the screen, changing the distance that the sprite moves by changing this number here. We added a speech bubble from the appearance blocks. And then we went back to the movement blocks, made the sprite move up the screen 8 steps and rotate using the clock face as a reference through 90 degrees so the sprite was facing downwards. Hey, how did you do? For some of you it will have been the first time you'll have done any coding, so feel proud and imagine what the children feel. More advanced sessions are available for purchase through the website, and we'll look at things such as using the art package, creating your own sprites and adding photos, as well as using sound. And along the way we'll develop simple games that can be shared with friends. Each session will have an associated lesson plan so you can deliver it out of the box, as it were. We look forward to you joining us again, but in the meantime look out for more courses here at techtivity.co.uk, and see you soon.